All right, everybody. Back at you with another exciting TV review. Today, we're gonna be checking out the Hisense U8K, which is perfect because what? For Pete's sake. I'll be right back. As I was saying, very excited to be reviewing the Hisense U8K. Yeah, that other one was the Hisense U7K, which I know a lot of folks want to see me review, and we'll get to it, but priorities, we got to do the U8K first because, I'm out of breath. We just got done doing the TCL QM8, for which this TV is a direct competitor. Oddly enough, the U7K has a taller, narrower, and much lighter box. So I'm really interested to see what's in this. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about this TV as I unbox it, and then we'll get it set up, and I'll take a few days to evaluate it and come back and give you the full review. For now, let's get that unboxing part done. Actually, before I start cutting tape, I wanna point out to some of the stuff that's printed on the box itself. Not that, don't worry about that. Just kidding, all due respect to David Katzmeyer, but seriously, Hisense? Really? I mean, we can do better. Call me. No, actually what I wanted to point out on the box is this peak brightness 1500 rating, which is supposed to say can hit up to 1500 nits. First of all, printing that right on the box is an interesting move, kind of a piece of flex on Hisense's part, but also this is going to be a very conservative number. I expect this TV to get much brighter than that. Interesting move on Hisense's part, that kind of a transparency, just putting it right out there and then exceeding people's expectations that they themselves are setting. Whatever, let's open this box. There we go. This is what we were looking for. Yeah, don't really need the manual, but definitely need the remote, and most importantly, the screws and power cable. That's also important. Down she goes, carefully. Nice. Typical Hisense TV, we have two different places to place the feet. We can go on the exterior for a wider stance, or more toward the center for a slightly narrower stance. We'll go wide as we normally do. You know what? I like these feet. They are a lot more substantial than I'm used to getting from Hisense, and that is a very welcome change. I also like that there's not really a left and a right anymore. They just changed the shape of the legs, so you can use either one on either side, and there's only one way they can go in. Okay, we're up, back at the TV shot here. No obvious signs as to why this felt heavier in the box than the U7, but you know, I won't know until we open the U7. I will say it does have a subwoofer. Doubt that's the source of the extra weight, but at least Hisense is trying to beef up the audio with their televisions, just like TCL is, whereas I feel like other manufacturers have kind of given up on the TV sound. Not sure what these flared ports are for. I'll find out and cover that in the full review portion coming up here. The only other thing worth mentioning back here is that the TV does come with two HDMI 2.1 ports. The TV is capable of 4K 144 Hertz with VRR. Two ports support that, one of which is the eARC port, just saying. And then there's a couple of 4K 60 ports on here as well. I was just commenting that I wish that there was a tab on this TV for pulling off the film like the TCL, and there actually is one. The trick though is that there's extra tape on the top and the bottom, and I'm not sure if it's going to come off when I try and remove this. Yeah, that's not going to work great. So how's that sound? That sound nice? I feel like TV unboxing ASMR is like the highest form of ASMR. Do you agree? If you do, leave this video a like. Manufacturers get paid money to feature streaming services on there. So it's common to find Netflix, YouTube, but after Netflix and YouTube, it's kind of a battle to whoever's gonna spend the money to get the placement. So Disney Plus, HBO Max, Max, they're gonna battle that out and spend the money to get the placement on the remote, which is like fine for the brand, but terrible for us because it's just more keys that, let's be honest, how useful is it to have a key for Crackle? I don't know, if you love Crackle, don't send hate mail. I'm just saying, like, do we need Crackle on the remote? Okay, funny thing, I just went on that rant without actually looking at the remote. I just saw it had 6 hotkeys. One of them is apps. It's yelling at you too. Apps, a button for apps. I guess that's how you get to the apps, but you know how else you get to the apps? You press the home key. Who knows? Hope this thing glows in the dark. We are up and running, and if you watch my TV reviews, then you probably already know that I really prefer Google TV as a smart TV operating system. Most of the setup happens on the Google Home app on your phone. Now that we're into the picture menu, I noticed that we need to go into General in order to change our picture mode, which you are definitely going to want to do if you purchase this TV because it's going to ship in the energy saving mode. Energy saving is great for saving energy and the planet. However, it also caps the maximum brightness of your TV. So if you want to get the full performance from your TV, at least switch it out of energy saving mode. In terms of my recommended picture preset, you can choose either filmmaker mode, theater day, or theater night. So it disables motion smoothing, which is something I like. And because it does that, I'm actually going to select theater, let's do theater day. Which is very bright. I'm gonna change my mind. We're going with theater night. Theater night, next thing I wanna do is make sure the automatic light sensor is not turned on. And it's not, that's great. I noticed with the TCL QM8, the light sensor was turned on. If it is turned on, it's gonna automatically adjust the brightness. And since I want control for my review, I need to make sure that's turned off. Now that takes care of our picture preset. Let's just go ahead and take a look in the brightness setting. We notice that local dimming is set to high, which is what we want, at least for now, to get started. BT 1886 gamma is what you expect for SDR. Dynamic tone mapping would be grayed out because we're not in HDR. Looks like there's a dark detail setting that we can play around with later, but that looks great. In terms of color, what I expect is it to be on a warm color settings, and it is. Now there are 2 here. There's warm 1 and warm 2. I'll play around with this for the review to see which one I find to be the most accurate, but for now, we'll stick with the default settings since that's what you're gonna get if you select this picture mode at home. Under clarity, it looks like we have some pretty basic noise reduction going on here, but motion enhancement is set to standard. We will try custom and film to see if we can find a nice balance between motion smoothing and full-on soap opera effect, but for now, I'm turning it off to see how the TV handles motion. And under calibration settings, this is where I'm gonna go in and tune the white balance and some of the color settings once I get to calibrating this TV. And I'm back, but there have been developments. Obviously, I had hoped to be sitting here delivering the full review on this TV, as you just saw from the unboxing portion, but I'm afraid that's gonna have to wait for a bit, and I'm sorry about that. There are a couple of weird things happening with this particular U8K review unit that I'll be describing shortly. But first, I wanted to talk about why I'm pressing forward with this video. The second reason is I feel like you all show up to watch these videos, and I think it's important that I show up with videos for you to watch. This has always been more than just a review channel. It's about the experiences with tech that we share together. The third reason is that I've been teasing and promoting this review and promised it would come soon, and if I'm not gonna come through on those promises, then I owe you an explanation. So consider this a little inside look at what it's like to review TVs, along with what I think is going to be a pretty encouraging preview of the Hisense U8K review that is coming very soon. As many of you know, my TV reviews are a combination of objective measurements and subjective analysis, and that's just the picture performance aspect. I like to go beyond picture performance and talk about the experience of owning a TV as well. As I launched into measuring this TV, I got some very encouraging results, which I'll share with you in a moment, but along the way, I ran into two anomalies, and I use that word anomaly very intentionally here. I am confident that the issues I've run into here are not inherent to the U8K TV because I've brought them up with Hisense and they are not experiencing this with any of the TVs they have on hand to test. That being the case, it is unlikely that these issues I'm seeing will present themselves on any of the retail TVs that go on sale whenever Hisense finally releases the U8K here. Which brings up an important point. This is something some of us reviewers run into when we get super early access to TVs. We're gonna run into stuff that nobody else is going to run into. In fact, our early reporting often results in brands fixing any problems that exist before the products land in your hands or your home. So with all of that in mind, here's what I ran into. There's two things. One is that the blue color on this TV, and by extension cyan, are showing errors that are way out of line with the rest of the color performance on this TV. This is clearly an anomaly because if the TV just had poor color in general, it would show up across the entire color gamut. But actually, as you can see here, all the other colors are measuring really well. The white point and the grayscale too, measuring super well. And I brought this up to Hisense and they can't replicate it. So I'm confident this is an anomaly and not a widespread issue with the TV itself. The other weird thing I've run into, and I've never seen this before, is that Filmmaker Mode HDR isn't working properly. I know this because every other HDR picture mode works great. I can put the TV into HDR, I can check that in the info menu here, plus we get a little pop-up as well. We're in HDR with a 10-bit signal, 4K resolution, 24 FPS for right now. And Filmmaker Mode's brightness is capping at about 600 nits, while the other HDR modes are measuring, as I expected, at around 2200 nits. You can see that right here. And this is something I want to point out now, and I'll do so in the full review too. This brightness performance exceeds Hisense's own claims by a good amount. The box says 1500 nits. And this has been an ongoing trend with Hisense. Their TVs outperform their own claims pretty consistently. But back to this Filmmaker Mode issue. It points to a problem with this specific TV sample. And even though just about everything else on this TV looks exactly as I expected, and by the way, looks and sounds very, very good, the fact that there are these issues means that I can't trust with 100% certainty that I'm experiencing either the best this TV has to offer, nor what you would experience at home. And that just doesn't work for me. I can't go forward with a review unless I'm totally confident in my own work. For that reason, I'm gonna let Hisense send me a different TV, and I'll send this one back to them so they can see what's going on. In the end, everyone is gonna be the better for it. When I get that replacement TV, which I imagine is gonna show up pretty quickly, then I'll be able to make short work of the review after confirming that those two anomalies aren't present. Because folks, here's the preview part. This TV is doing some great things, from the white balance and grayscale I mentioned earlier, to better coverage of the BT 2020 color space than I expected, to some impressive backlight control, black levels, peak brightness, contrast. All of those factors are looking really good right now. I almost feel like I could look past those two things and offer a qualified review of this TV, but almost is not good enough for me. And more importantly, almost isn't good enough for you. Y'all have shown me way too much love over the past 10 years for me not to give you my best. So for you, for Hisense, for everyone, I'm gonna hold off and bring you my full U8K review soon as I can. And then shortly after that, I'm gonna put the 65-inch U8K against a 65-inch TCL QM8, and we're gonna see exactly how that plays out. Honestly, that's the TV comparison I'm personally looking forward to doing the most. And hey, while we're here, I just wanna tease something else. I have some very exciting, and for me personally, very big news that I'm gonna be sharing soon. It's gonna change a lot about what's happening on this channel, so stay tuned for that. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that now so you don't miss out. Okay? Okay, see you all soon. And as always, much love to you all. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I'll see you soon. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. I would love your feedback on this video, and I know you're gonna give it to me even if I don't ask for it, but here's me asking. So hit me up in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, I'll see you on the next one. And until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like.